Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, definitely a different vibe to every intro I've ever done.
Kanye.
Ever done. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm beyond excited. I've been waiting for Matt to want to do the episode forever. I already said his name. This is my best friend ever, Matt Redinger. Dude, you're going to be at my wedding, bro. And I'm so excited you're here, dude. This is it, bro. I've been like, you know, I know with every guest I have on, like, I say something great about them, but you truly are like one of my greatest friends, dude. Like, I truly appreciate you, dude. You know, and we're gonna get into all that and stuff. Matt, bro, like,
Appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it.
dude, you're my like favorite person ever, bro. Right now we are at CrossFit High Gear, basically our church that I've talked about in every other episode, Grace Church. We do a lift group, and this is where we do it. And we just lifted.
We did.
What did you hit when you lifted?
Dude, we hit some push. So I was hitting chest, not so much tries, but shoulders. Chest and shoulders, a little bit of abs.
That's right. And I'm gonna expose us. What were we supposed to hit today?
Legs. We were supposed to say legs. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, we hit chest instead of legs, and now we're here, dude. Matt, bro. One of the first things that was kind of on my mind that I want to talk about, and then we'll introduce Matt and all that stuff, is we watched the Jake Paul fight. I just watched the Jake Paul fight.
Disgrace.
Okay. And so listen, this is the one thing I want to say, because I've seen a bunch of stuff online and people are like, oh, Jake beat up Onk and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Bro,
Listen,
watch out for Onk, by the way.
Listen. I see a little bit of Jake in me. Pause. It's my fellow Ohio brother. Jake is from Ohio, and I think it's the coolest thing ever that he's living the life, okay? This is the point I want to make, all right? Is if someone offered me $40 million to fight Mike Tyson, would I say no?
I'm doing it.
That's what I'm saying.
doing it.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
But I mean, it's not like he was being offered $40 million to like fight and lose to Mike Tyson. I feel like it's the other way around, bro.
What you mean?
Like Mike Tyson got offered $40 million to lose to Jake Paul.
So you think it's rigged?
I do 100%.
What are you talking about, bro?
There was a video. I don't know if you saw it. You look it up after this. Fact check me. I saw it on TikTok, so you know that's how it's got to be real.
Yes, correct.
But it was a slow mo. It was a slow mo from the fight, and pretty much Jake Paul, like I don't really know much about boxing, but Jake Paul just he blocked for one of Mike Tyson's punches that he didn't actually throw.
Yeah.
And then he left his face wide open. Mike started throwing the punch, and it was like wide open, like
Yeah.
And then he just pulled it back, like bro, it's rigged, bro.
It was on TikTok. I guess it's real. Listen,
it was real footage, bro.
This is the point I want to make is, you know, as much as you can hate on Jake for fighting Unk and Old Man and fighting all these old people, this is my thing, is I think it's every boxer's dream to fight Mike Tyson. And the fact that he was able to do it while Mike Tyson is still alive,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't knock that, bro.
No, 100%. I'd do it. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I would make like the biggest scene about it so that I could do it.
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
Like
And
it's not like I mean, everyone sees him as the villain, but he's obviously trying to be that, and you kind of have to be that in boxing to piss people off enough to get to fight you. You know.
But also with Mike Tyson, I feel like Jake easily could have whooped his ass.
Yeah.
There was a lot of points in there where I think Jake could have pressed a little more, and he didn't.
If it wasn't rigged.
If it wasn't rigged. Matt, where did we first meet, dog?
Dude, right here.
We've been, you know what? We did meet here for the first time. We've been homies for how long? Like 7, 8
something like
months
that.
or something like that, dude. And we've just been like, you've been one of my biggest homies ever, bro.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
Awesome.
You know, I feel like I've never been alone in my life, okay? Through like everything I've ever been through in my life, I've never like done things alone.
We're getting deep off the rip here.
A little bit. But I would say like you've just been by my side through this whole my transformation through Christ, dude, and I love you, brother.
Dude.
Like seriously.
I love you too, and
like,
it's been awesome to like just hearing you say that. It's awesome to hear, and like I'm the type of person who I just whenever I can help someone, it makes me feel like fulfilled a little bit.
Yeah.
That's my goal. So
you gotta talk in the mic.
Am I not? Yeah, my bad.
It's Mike before me.
Yeah,
that's what I say.
Mike.
It's the Mike before me.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like you're winning in life, dude. For like everyone who doesn't know how cool you are, right? You got a girlfriend. She's dope. You're in school and you're studying
biology.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But he's already wrapped up. So all you girls that are listening, like, and Matt's
crazy.
Matt's in incredible shape. You were just repping 225 for like what?
12 reps. 12.
Yeah, flex, bro. You're nuts, dude. Matt,
appreciate it, bro.
You know, I feel like with your story, and we've talked about this a bunch. When it comes to Christ or whatever you want to call it, you've had such a like gnarly experience with all that. You know what I'm saying? Because you're a very smart guy.
Yeah.
And I think that's different than most people. Hear me out. Okay. Is I feel like when it comes to you getting into Christ, right? A lot of people feel something and they run with that feeling forever. You know what I'm saying? And whatever like happens in their life, you know what I'm saying? They justify them following Christ because they felt something once. You know what I'm saying? You may have felt something, but you're like, look, I want to know all the evidence. I want to know why God's real.
Yeah.
Like how we know God's real. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you kind of went through all the semantics and what's it called? Apologetics.
It is. I love apologetics.
Yes.
It's the defense of what we believe. So the defense of the gospel, the Bible, and just defending that position. Love that.
Exactly. Before we get into all that, take me way back, bro.
Yes.
Where did like your story start when it came to faith?
Okay. So you want me just to like go through everything, or do you want me to just give you the beginning and I'll go from there?
I'm talking like out the womb
Got you.
to now, bro.
Got you, bro. Got you. All right. It's out the womb. Okay. Out the womb, I don't remember, but past that. So, I mean, I've always been growing up in a Christian household, which I think is
No one's ever said that before.
I know. It's like, it's crazy. It's a lot of people can relate to that.
And your dad's a pastor.
My dad is a pastor, which not a lot of people can relate to. But I was like, it was the most Christian of Christian households. So I was always taught, just always being taught the Christian worldview and looking through everything in life through a Christian lens.
Yes.
But I wouldn't say that I was a Christian until pretty recently, because I took a lot of pride in like the Christian community. I took a lot of pride in just like what that brought and the benefits from that. So, you know, obviously all of my family were Christians. So like being involved with them and just I actually went to a Christian high school, CVCA.
Yeah.
So that part of the community, I always like, it was part of my identity being part of the community. And I think that's where a lot of people fall into.
I see. Like, sorry, I totally interrupted you. Like we just talked about this, like the clout that comes from being a follower.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like with the
It's
podcast
real.
and stuff, there's a couple of these episodes that have popped off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, you know, it's that Jesus clout. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
But you had a ton because your dad was a pastor.
Yes. Yeah. So Jesus clout is a real thing. And it's kind of a trap. I don't want to say a trap, but it's kind of a little bit of a pitfall that I see a lot of people fall into is they go into a community and they feel good because they're in a nice community, because that's oftentimes the case. But they never go further than just being in the community. So I was part of that. I was in that for sure. And then my life was going really good. I was always like a pretty happy-go-lucky person. Whatever, you know, life kind of threw my way, I was just like, let's just go through it and whatever. I never really had any like really big challenges in my life. Like my biggest challenge is like football 2-a-days. Like that's nothing crazy.
You got it pretty good.
Right. I had it pretty good. And then just the transition to college is where everything changed just immediately. So going into college, all of my best friends were traveling for college and going out of state. Or if they were in state, they were hours away. And I decided to stay local, just to save money. I thought it was a smart choice. So I decided to stay local, and probably like I just lost all my friends pretty much. Like not lost, like you don't talk to them, but lost. Like obviously it's not the same.
You don't see the homies, bro.
Exactly. Yeah. And on top of that, just going into this new environment where, like I said, I was always part of this Christian community, Christian whatever, and then now I'm going to a public school that is so opposite of that and so anti that.
Yeah. And where'd you go?
I went to Akron. Yeah. I go to Kent State now, so screw Akron.
He goes to both.
No, I don't go to both anymore.
You're a switch hitter. Yeah, but like you have history at both.
I do.
You know
I
what
do.
I'm saying?
Yeah, not good history. But I went to Akron, and just the whole. I just wasn't used to it. I wasn't prepared for it. I wasn't ready for the whole culture switch. So like, I was going into computer science. Just I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I was going into computer science.
Super dork.
It was not for me. I'm not the type of person to sit down at a computer for 8 hours a day and type.
I feel like when I think of like computer science, and please, like anyone who does computer science, please don't like take this the wrong way, but this way I think.
You're about to lose all your computer science viewers.
I think of like Discord mod, neckbeard, 300-pound life, like Dorito dust all over the keyboard.
When I was getting my my like when they do the tour, like before you like sign up for Akron,
you met the neckbeard.
No, it was I did meet those, yes. But the lady that was giving me the tour, she was like, you know what's different about you, and this is why you're going to do really good in computer science, because you're smart, but you're also personable, and that's really rare in computer science. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, like all the computer science people are like,
they're kind of mean.
They need Christ.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So, anyways,
you were going to college. And
yes,
lost
going
your
to
homies.
college. So a lot of big challenges there, and but I had to take some some really easy classes, just like elective classes. And one of them was like a gen ed. What was it? Geology class. And
is that like rocks?
It's like rocks and like no, it is. It actually is.
Yeah, it's rocks.
But it went into the study of like aging the earth. Okay. And I always grew up in a creationist household, which if you don't know what that is, that's the belief that the earth is about 7,000 years old, and that evolution is not true. God created everything, like just made everything
as it is.
As it is. Yes.
Interesting.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So I grew up believing that. And when I go into this geology class, everything's about the earth is billions of years old. The galaxy is even older. And that just completely like shook me. And like they were giving a lot of good, like, wow, dang, I don't know how to argue against this.
Yeah. I see. Like a lot of evidence for that.
Yeah, a whole lot of evidence.
Okay.
And I just didn't know how to handle that. So like I remember going to class one day and I was like, okay, that kind of like weighed me down, but I'm just going to start researching it.
Yeah.
So this is a little trap that I fell into, is that I went online and bro, I went to Reddit. Like that's the worst place to go to find. It's a really good place for a lot of things. It's the worst place to go for anything philosophical, in my opinion.
Bro,
anything
I will say like
unbiased.
Whenever I go to Reddit, it's for like video game.
Dude, it's fire for that.
Cheat code or like, why can't I beat this or something?
Yes, 100%.
It's good for everything that doesn't matter.
But people on Reddit are the most biased people. I'm not even saying against Christianity. I'm saying against like anything. If you go into like specific communities, they're just very biased because you're putting so many people in one spot and there's no one to challenge them. So
correct.
So I kind of fell into that, and I looked to Reddit to solve my problems of how do I deal with this.
You're not the only one though.
Right? No, not at all. And that's why I want to share this for sure. So I did that, and all I was finding was just even more arguments of why Christianity is wrong and so many things that I just couldn't handle.
Yeah.
So many things were like, oh, this is why evolution's right. This is why like the age of the earth is this way, or like theological things. One thing that really bothered me even before high school, and this is kind of a theme throughout my story, is how on earth does a loving God send people to hell forever?
Yeah.
And that was like, I just like immediately saw that when I started researching. I'm like, oh, dang.
Because that makes sense to have that question, bro.
Right.
If he loves us, why would he ever do anything to hurt us?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that just like sent me into a spiral, like huge spiral of I have to find out every single answer to everything, or else my entire identity at the time, I still don't think I was a Christian back then, but my identity being in that community was lost. And that just put me into the deepest depression, the deepest anxiety. I was not going to class. I couldn't get out of bed. I would try, but I would just be like shaking the entire day. I wasn't eating.
Really, dude?
Either I wasn't eating or I was eating way too much. So just flip flop, which is not a good way to.
That's right, dude. You showed me pictures of you like before you like work out a bunch.
Yeah.
You were like packing lbs, bro. Like you were like what was the highest weight that you got up to?
So highest weight I was like 210 or something like that.
Bro,
and there was none of that was muscles.
Dude, you were on your way to Discord.
I was getting there.
Computer science.
It's that was computer science, right? That's what started it.
Yeah, bro.
like that's what made that happen.
Being overweight leads to computer science.
It's literally just it's a rabbit
effect.
trail. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, that was just super rough. And I wasn't like, my family was so concerned for me, and I still feel so bad about that. But I was in bed, and all I would do in bed is just be on my phone researching, and I would literally watch debates of like Christianity versus atheism for probably 8 to 10 hours every day. And I know that sounds miserable, and it was miserable. It wasn't because I wanted to do it, it's because I just needed some sort of answer, and I wasn't finding them anywhere.
That's crazy. And, you said that during this time you weren't totally a Christian. Where do you, like, because I don't know, like when I'm sitting in my bed, the last thing I want to, like, do is, like, research or study. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, where do you think that motivation came from? Because, like, when I'm in my bed now, I'm, like, scrolling reels or...
Oh, yeah, same.
Okay, I'm going to shout out this channel. It's called Summoning Salt. It's on YouTube, okay? Hear me out. He does, like, the history of video game speedruns. If you have seen these before,
I've seen that.
The like history of Mario Kart shortcut, or like the one I was watching last night. I was watching like Star Wars, the Lego Saga.
I was about to say that.
I was watching the speedrun history, and these videos are like an hour and a half long. But I think it's incredible how these people are so passionate about something. So,
dude, and they go crazy at the end.
Dude, they're nuts.
Like,
it's actually like
screeching.
I think they're like more talented than like professional athletes. I'm gonna be honest, bro. Where do you think that like I don't know, like how were you? Because like if you weren't a Christian, like how were you so motivated to like spend all that time doing it?
So it was like, for me, it was like a existential crisis, they call it, where I was like, if this isn't true, then my life is meaningless, is what I felt like. So I don't know if you've heard of something called nihilism. Okay,
enlighten me, please.
So nihilism is a philosophical standpoint of people who are atheists. And what it is it's basically, since there's no afterlife and since there's nothing after you die, everything in life is pretty much pointless. Everything is there's no point to everything, which if I didn't believe in God, then that I would tend to have that viewpoint, because there really isn't anything after you die. Everything just fades to dust. Eventually the universe will end, and that's it. You know
what? You just like...
So I was just super scared of either my life's pointless or Christianity is true, and I need to figure this out.
That's terrifying,
yeah,
bro.
It was really terrifying. It gets worse though. So I was doing that, and I was spending so much time researching, and my family was so concerned. People around me were concerned, and I wasn't going to class. All my grades were terrible. I ended up withdrawing from a lot of classes.
Really?
Oh yeah. So that was really rough.
Talk about turning your life around,
dude.
Bro.
It was so bad.
Like to where you are now, bro. Like you're winning. Like you're a winner now.
I appreciate that.
But to go from neckbeard college dropout.
Neckbeard, yes, literally. So
I'm sorry, I keep pressing on the...
that's literally what it was. You're 100% right.
Like mad, like you were
he's not
like,
being mean. He's being nice, honestly.
Like you showed me pictures, bro. I was like, what? He looked like, I'm trying to think.
It's like it wasn't like someone who's fat is a lot of times like round. I wasn't round. I was just like melted. Like if that makes sense. Like
tubby.
Yeah. So anyways, so eventually I There's a lot of things to this. Okay, so I'm gonna just go by this like one step at a time.
Please, bro. I'm here for you.
There's a lot of different parts of this, and they kind of intertwine a little bit.
Yes.
So one day I was like, I had enough. I'm gonna stop going online, and I'm just gonna read my Bible. Maybe there's some answers in there, you know. So I go to find my Bible in my room, and I just can't find it, and I'm just kind of concerned about that. And I'm like, I always have my Bible in my room. That's kind of weird. So I'm like, I'll go to my parents' room. I know they have a Bible in there. Just like they have them everywhere. So I go in there, and there's actually like, I don't see any. But there's one, and it was underneath like a stack of binders, and it was super dusty. It hasn't been used in a long time.
It's like a movie.
Right. It really is.
Yeah.
So I bring that back to my room. I blow off the dust, whatever.
That's right.
I just like pray over it. Like I'm just on my ground, literally like just on my knees, just praying over it for like 45 minutes probably.
Yeah.
And my prayer pretty much like there was probably 20 minutes of me just like listing different things that I just need questions and answers. Or I have these questions I need answers. And just listing those off to God. And then another half of my prayer was just literally just repeating. I know it sounds crazy, but I was crazy back then. Is repeating, God, like I have unbelief and I need help believing. Like I need help believing. Help me with my unbelief. Help me with my unbelief. I literally just kept saying that over and over again. Yeah. Give me something to believe in, Lord. Help me with my unbelief. And after 45 minutes of that, well, this is the crazy part. After 45 minutes of that, I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna, there's a bookmark in here. I might as well open up to the bookmark. Why not? So I open up to the bookmark, and this is one of those study Bibles, right? So if a study Bible has like, it has like the normal Bible text, and it also has like the little bubbles.
A narrative that tells you what's going on.
Because it's hard to understand. Deeper. Yeah, it's like someone's interpretation of it, and a pretty accurate one from this one. So I open it up, and one of those little bubbles from the narrative was, I kid you not, need help with unbelief? Like my exact prayer was, please help me with unbelief. Please help me with unbelief. I opened up this bookmark. Need help with unbelief?
That's nuts.
Yeah, bro. And I had shivers. I was literally staring at it like, no. I was thinking of every way that it could have been not real. I was like, did my parents know? And they were like reading this so that maybe they could help me. But no, there's dust on it. Hasn't been opened in a long time.
Bro. This is like ancient manuscript you're digging.
Right.
You're wiping the dust off.
Right. So that was, I was like so happy. I was like,
That's
okay, I don't know the answers, but like this is something huge. So I was so happy. I was like going to bed. I like called my girlfriend. I'm like this is the best thing. Like I don't have to be scared anymore. I don't have to be like in fear. Like it's done. I'm gonna get my life back together, and this is gonna be good now. I was telling my parents everything. I was so happy. I go to bed like happiest I've been in like a month.
Yeah.
And then or 2 months probably at that point of just the researching and everything. And I kid you not, the next day, I fall right back into that anxiety. Really? And I fall right back into that depression. And I fall right back into that being scared about my life. Yeah. And I go back right into the research. And it's almost like I just forgot it even happened.
I feel like when you talk about like the like anxiety and depression, I think like you were in a spot where you like, you know, people say that like life doesn't matter or whatever, but I think you took that to heart. You know what I'm saying? Because like, you know, people that believe life doesn't matter, like, you know, like bro, those are the same people that like kill themselves and like end their lives.
Well, I'll get to that in a little bit, actually. Yeah.
And he's laughing like,
I'm laughing because
like
I can.
Funny,
we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Just, bro, that sounds so bad. Yeah. Just wait. Hold up. I promise I'm not being insensitive. Right? Hold on. Okay. So let me continue. So past that, I was so happy, and then I just fell right back into it. And I don't know if you've dug into the Old Testament that much.
I will say that, like, you know, the reason I said that you're like incredibly smart and like whatever is because like my walk with Christ, it's been strictly like feeling and things that he's done in my life that like, it's very like what I've been through and what I've felt. And I think that's with a lot of people, but I think like yours is very different because it's like with me, I've never questioned the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I've always take that as like spoken word correct.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Which like is good, but it's also like, you know, ignorance is bliss in the fact that like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like a willful ignorance some people have of just like...
Exactly. And so just now, you know, recently after we've talked and after, you know, like the things that we've done at Collective, our church recently, I've been able to like really think about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I've never thought about like, you know, apologetics defending your faith. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because, you know, like people say like, you know, science and religion can't be in the same room and all this stuff. But sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Well, first thing I would say is like, bro, like I would challenge you a little bit to like, and I know you're still like on that path, and like you're like, it's been awesome to see you. Like,
God's
work
not
towards
finished.
it. No, not even.
with
God's
me.
not finished with any of us,
Yeah.
dude. Not even close. But just like, I know it's like kind of hard, and it kind of like sometimes it is hard to get through a lot of the passages in the Bible because you're not sure exactly how it applies to different things.
Yeah.
But bro, just like try to keep adding to your knowledge of the Bible, because there will be times in the future when you will have challenges in that, and you need to be able to back it up with some sort of thing, something that's not a feeling. Because at some point, and this doesn't go for Avery, this goes for everyone. At some point, if you're a Christian, you're going to have feelings that are not so good about the Bible and are not so good about Christianity and Christ. And you're going to feel, why did that happen in my life? Why did God let that happen? And when Jesus is tempted in the desert, when Satan tries to tempt him in the desert, he always goes back to Scripture every single time. Yeah. So when Satan's trying to tempt Christians with these feelings of why did God do that in my life? Why did that happen? Or just whatever it is. Yeah. The answer is always trying to have some sort of Scripture to back that up.
And not even just that, but it's like, you know, we're called to make disciples, right? And spread the gospel. And there's a lot of people that like need that understanding.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. In order to start that journey.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And like you were one of those people.
Definitely.
Right? So you're, you know, that's why we're talking right now. Because you've been there, done that.
Heck
but you know, back to what you were saying.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
a lot.
Yes.
So after that, I just kept researching, and eventually, probably a few weeks later, I kind of thought I had a breakthrough, and I kind of did have a breakthrough. Just finding things in my life where I logically it made sense. I found something that made sense with my brain, made sense with my sense of logic, that God pretty much had to exist. That paired with kind of that miracle that happened with my life kind of just really forced me into believing that God existed. And kind of what the thing that really kicked it was like this train of thought that something can't come from nothing. It's a common argument, but I really overlooked it because it was common. It's a really good argument, and like nothing can just create something. It doesn't happen in life where nothing can create something.
Correct.
And scientifically, it's just not possible. You never see that. Energy is just transformed. It's never made. It's never destroyed.
And what you're kind of getting at is like the Big Bang. Is that kind of what you're like?
Exactly.
Is people think that like what two? I'm sure you're familiar with the argument.
even not even saying anything. Two of nothing made something. You know. The Big Bang came from what? What created the Big Bang? Nothing created the Big Bang. Well, eventually you get to a point where it doesn't make sense for there to be something coming from nothing, and you need something outside of our laws of physics and everything with that, and something that literally the definition of something that is outside of our laws of nature is supernatural, and that's God. I mean, that's literally, there has to be something supernatural, and that's the kind of the stepping stone that people have a hard time getting over. Is how can I believe in the supernatural? Well, bro, it's we can't come from nothing. Yeah. And there was a couple other things that really solidified that for me. But so I got to this point where I was pretty confident in the belief that God existed. And I was trying so hard to like fight my feelings. I was trying to be unbiased with all this. So I felt pretty good about that. Yeah. I was attacking it from every position that I could. And I felt pretty good for a little bit. And then I just remembered, and this is where it gets bad. Even worse is then I thought to myself, because I try to explore every single position, like every single, and it bothers me if I can't.
Yeah.
So I tried I found this in my head where it was, well, I know that God is real, but how do I know that the Christian God is real? And I was like, oh, okay, that's not too bad of a question. I mean, this should be pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
No, it's not straightforward. It's been a battle for thousands of years between the biggest religions, and I thought that I could solve it in a matter of weeks.
Did you go back to Reddit?
I did go back to Reddit. Yeah, silly me.
Yeah. So basically, you started with kind of the Big Bang.
Yes.
And you questioned that.
Yes.
We conquered that.
Yeah.
And now
evolution and all the science stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And now we're on to like multiple gods.
Yes.
How do you know there's only one?
Yes.
And you went back to Reddit?
I did. Yeah, that was quite the choice.
Yeah.
But
it's like going back to the toxic ex-girlfriend.
It really was. So I wasn't really that concerned about it, and then I started thinking, and this really scared me. Well, with other gods comes, or other religions comes hell, and what if I think that it's Christianity, and it's actually Islam, or it's actually Hinduism, and then because I believed in Christianity, I go to their hell and I burn in their hell forever and ever, because hell's pretty consistent across religions where it's eternal.
It sucks.
Yeah, it
for
sucks.
all
It sucks.
there is no like good hell.
No, not really.
Like there's no like ooh.
Not that I know of. There's definitely different variations, or some that aren't. But so I was just that just caused me the most anxiety I've ever felt in my life. It was even more than what I was just describing.
Yeah.
I wasn't talking to anyone. I cut off everyone.
Really?
Yeah, I was rough. And there were really only a few specific people that really stayed with me through that. And really, like, it was my family. My family and a couple of my friends that I think about so much, and how they stuck with me, even though I was such like the definition of failing in life at that point. But they stuck there with me because they loved me.
Yeah.
And I think about that, and literally one of my biggest goals in life is just being able to repay that, and just being able to eventually down the road
to take care of your family.
Take care of them, and just to treat them because they were there no matter what.
Yep.
So because of that anxiety, it just kept building up, and I couldn't find answers, and I kind of just narrowed it down to two, and it was Christianity and Islam.
Okay.
And it was so scary thinking about going to that hell and going to whatever it was described. And I ended up diving so deep into their holy book, the Quran, and so much, and knowing so much about it. It sounds so funny because I'm 20 years old and I know a lot about a bunch of religions, and that's not really a common thing. And it's not like I really want to know that much about all these other religions, but it's kind of just a process of what happened, or a byproduct of what happened.
That's crazy, bro. I've never read the Quran.
Yeah.
Is it different? Is it
Yes.
Is it like incredibly different from the Bible?
So it's very interesting. It's not in chronological order at all. So you kind of have to jump from spot to spot.
Yeah.
It is kind of like the Bible in the way that there's verses and there's different books.
Are there like stories and metaphors?
There are stories, and the stories are.
Do they believe in
strange.
Jesus?
They believe in Jesus, but they do not believe that Jesus is God, and they do not believe that Jesus is divine. They believe that he's a prophet, and that he was coming to tell us about Muhammad, who is also a prophet. Muhammad, yes. He's also a prophet, and who is going to tell us about Allah. So he's just another. Jesus was pretty much just another
messenger,
yeah.
Pawn in the game.
Yes, exactly. Which, if you kind of think about it, it's kind of dumb, because why would God send down Jesus to tell everyone about Islam if the biggest thing that came from Jesus is Christianity, which is the number one religion opposing Islam in the world? If you go through that logic,
like they're up there at the in the watchtower.
You're right.
They're like, oh, frick.
Dude, I sent down the wrong guy. Like that. If you think like his purpose was to tell everyone about Allah and Islam. And like literally no one knew about Islam until Muhammad came along. So God just kind of messed up there, if you think about it.
Muhammad.
Yeah. So that was, but anyways, going back to my story with that, that was really hard for me because I didn't work through those logical things, because you have to know so much about the Quran and that religion. So I ended up.
That's very stressful.
Reading most of the Quran. I would say 90% of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it as big as the Bible?
It's not quite as big as the Bible. No, I think it's about the size of the New Testament, but I'm not exactly sure if it's
That's
that.
still long.
Yes. And it's pretty tedious to get through because a lot of it's repeating itself, and a lot of the Quran is just saying the unbelievers will go to hell. It's literally just repeating that over and over again, and the good people will go. It's like a lot of that is just repeating. But obviously, reading through that and hearing, the unbelievers will go to hell.
I bet that scared
the
you,
crap
dude.
out of me, and they described it in graphic detail, and it just scared the crap out of me. So my problem went from, well, either Christianity is true, and I go to heaven after I die if I believe in Jesus and that He died for me, or nothing's true. There's no God, there's no religion, and I just disappear after I die. 2, Christianity is real and I go to heaven, or Islam is real and I go to hell for eternity.
Yeah.
So you see how that kind of is different. In that,
there's always an L in the equation.
yes, but the L is way bigger in the second scenario where I'm going to hell for forever, and you don't that's terrifying. I never once thought that.
It's not preferred.
No, not really. No, I wouldn't say so. So that scared the crap out of me. And I couldn't get over it. And there was probably 6 or 7 months into this. Around Thanksgiving, I got really, really I was fed up, and I was thinking, man, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I want to just know. I want to know what happens when I die.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, I think I'll try to kill myself, and just find out. And I know that got dark really fast. But it's part of my story. It's part of the reason why I praise God so much now.
That literally, it freaks me the fuck out, dude. Because, so many people are in your spot where they don't know.
Yes.
And, it's just, it's the secular world.
Yep.
And then they're going into both books. And then it, you know what I'm saying?
If I didn't have the supporting people around me, I would not be alive right now. And I wouldn't have those. If I didn't have my family, the people that love me, that helped me out of that, I wouldn't be here. But
That's
thank God,
dude. Because it's
all glory to Jesus.
Because if you don't, I will say I'm very lucky. My mom is always, when I was younger, we'd always go around Christ, right? Maybe maybe not always act like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Might be a delinquent, but I've always I accepted Christ in my life when I was incredibly young. I was in first grade, and Mrs. King, she was my Sunday school teacher, and we were in Sunday school and at the chapel in Green, and we were just talking about, you're in first grade, so they're not making it super complicated, whatever. And so she was like, "Does anyone want to go out into the hallway and accept Jesus as your savior?" And so I'll never forget this kid that I went out with. It was me and this one other, and we both raised our hands at the same time. His name was Seth. I'll never forget Seth. But we both went out, and she basically told us, and I'll never forget. She goes, "Isn't this crazy? I'm in first grade," and I remember all this. But she goes, "Avery and Seth, you don't understand the magnitude of this decision now.
Yeah.
But when you get older, it'll be the best thing you've ever done, And obviously being young,
you don't understand all that.
But I remember feeling something in my heart. I remember my heart changing.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds ridiculous because I was so young, but there's something about that day that changed the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I will say super recently, I've been getting into my faith, and I call it grinding my Jesus battle pass. You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
But I've always had Him in my corner. I've always had Him to count on. I've always prayed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not everyone has that. No. You know what I'm saying? And I feel in your spot, it's you were look, I love the Jesus clout. It's cool, but I don't truly know. And there are people that don't grow up with Christ at all. That are in your spot that go to both sides.
Right.
And it freaks them out,
They don't know
dude.
what to do. They don't know what to do.
Because people are well, if my life doesn't matter, or I don't know.
Exactly.
Right? then why would I waste any more time?
And maybe they're not going to get super suicidal about it, but maybe it just leads to other things that are terrible. Like the repercussions of thinking that your life has no meaning to it can be so deep, where it's, oh, my life has no meaning, I'm going to go do all these drugs. My life has no meaning, I might as well do this and that screws other people over. But no, there's no meaning to this.
It's terrifying.
It is. Yeah. For sure. For sure. But just continuing with that and how Jesus worked through my life. So past that, I started getting better. I started just trying to talk with my family more, just communicate with them more, just what's going on. And we kind of tackled it as a team. Like I'm not even joking, every night my dad and my mom would stay up with me and we would research it together. So I didn't have to do it.
Bust them.
I didn't have to do it alone.
Yeah.
And that was so helpful for me, because I would get in my head a lot and I would just not be able to not go past things. And then one of them would just say, oh, but it's actually this way. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes so much sense. But sometimes you need that other person to just be there and take some of the fear away. Because fear blinds reality. It's literally just a biological truth of when you're scared, you don't see things straight. You just want to get out of that situation.
Yes. I used this example yesterday when I was at the climbing group, which I've invited to, but you haven't texted me back about. Whatever. But one of the things we literally talked about yesterday was fear.
Yeah.
And so my example is, there's a golf hole in the Players Championship. It's at the course TPC Sawgrass, okay? And so on this golf hole, it's this green in the middle of a lake. It's a par 3. It's a short hole. And so with any other hole, 130 yards is nothing.
Right.
Nothing. Right? These guys are professional golfers, and they would hit the green 10 times out of 10, right? But because it's surrounded by water, right? You see more missed greens on that hole than like any other hole professionally. Even like longer, par 3s that are way longer, right? Like,
you hear that?
What was that? All right, sorry. But like, and I think the reason, and actually I know the reason, is because the green is surrounded by water. You start to think, right? What if, you know what I'm saying? And it's and then you're like, oh, I can't mess up. I can't miss, right? And that freaks you out.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I think, with fear and all that, where you say it blinds you from reality, that's so true, dude. And and the golf hole is such a good example.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We're like, look, if you guys actually and it shows you that human intuition is wrong, right? Realizing that, like, look, if they were just playing golf and there was grass everywhere, they would never miss the screen. But because that fear of the water and everything, that's why people miss that green so much. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Sorry,
I love that.
I stretch that way out.
No, that's like exactly what, or like, I don't know if you've ever had this feeling, like you're walking, you ever like go on the road and you're like trying to walk, or not the road, but like the sidewalk, and you're trying to like walk like right on the lines, like just like not, like,
correct.
I'm not the only one who's done that.
Yeah.
As soon as like you go over top of something high and you look down, that becomes so much harder to just walk straight. Like if you're on a height, or at least for me, I don't know.
I'm so stupid. I don't know what you're saying.
No, I'm kind of just describing it bad. It's like it's just like walking normally is super easy. You don't think about it. Walking over a high place, if you're scared of heights, is terrifying. And your legs get wobbly.
I see.
You know.
So like, okay, I'm gonna make it so everyone can understand what you just said, bro.
I think the second time.
No, bro, but like, if there's floor everywhere and you want to walk in a perfectly straight line, it's easy.
Yeah.
But when you have that perfectly straight line placed in between two skyscrapers,
exactly,
like it freaks you out.
It's terrifying.
And you start to lose your balance.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. So my method then, I literally recognized that, and I wrote it. I had this notebook with all my notes of the research that I was doing, and I wrote down a method, because writing it down just helped me remember it, because my mind was so jumbled up. And I wrote down that I'm going to try to tackle this with as little fear as possible.
Yeah.
And because of that, if God really wants me to find him, whether it's Islam's God or Christianity's God, if God wants me to find him, he would want me to find him in whatever process actually leads me to him, and not a process that's going to blind me from the truth. And that fear is going to blind me so much. So my goal is to just tackle that without as much fear as I could.
That makes sense.
And secondly, like if God really wants me to find him and I'm searching as hard as I can, then God's going to let me find
Show
him.
himself to
and there's
you.
literally verses about that in the Bible.
Yes.
So I just kept going through that, and that process was really hard. My brother actually forced me to start coming to. Have you talked about Collective on your podcasts? Probably a little bit.
Every single time.
Okay, cool.
Shout out your brother though.
Yeah. So my brother Ben Reitinger.
He's
the man.
He's the man.
He forced me pretty much. He didn't force me, but he bought me a ticket to the Collective retreat, and was like, "Yeah, you're coming on this." So
And something to specify: coming to Collective is free. Okay. You don't buy tickets to Collective.
No.
You buy tickets to the
Yeah.
retreat where we go far away. It's like it's super cheap, and like if you can't afford it, they'll pay.
it's just paying for your meals and stuff.
It's not like you're paying to go every Thursday.
No,
Like
I'm pretty
there's-
sure they actually lose a lot of money from their retreats because they're paying for more than the meals, and then if someone doesn't have the money to do it, they just pay for them. So
Correct.
it's yeah,
It just made it sound like
No.
my brother bought me a ticket to Collective.
that's fair.
And it's not
No.
one of those like mega churches that
No.
tries to make a bunch of coin.
Heck no. So I ended up going to the Collective retreat. I know absolutely no one there, maybe one or two people. But I was just walking around kind of like lonely and just stressed out from all the stuff that's still on my mind. And then a couple of the leaders like found me, and we just started getting into it, just talking about all these things.
Who are the leaders? Do I know them?
It was Josiah.
Josiah the goat. He's going to be on soon. I am
let's
so
go. That's
freaking
fire.
hyped about that. Yes.
So we started talking about just everything. Like I wasn't quite over all of the creation evolution stuff, but I had a base. So we talked about creation evolution, age of the earth, some theological things, like how could God send people to hell if he's all loving, and just we just hashed it out all night pretty much, and just he was giving answers to things that I've never heard before, and it wasn't necessarily that all of his answers were solving all of my problems right there and then.
Yeah.
There were a few that were like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, and there were a lot of others that were like, I'm gonna have to go research this when I get home. I'm gonna have to look into it more.
Can you give an example of like
This
one of the
was so
things?
long ago, but I think just creation evolution, talking about how Genesis, a lot of people interpret it as literal as possible, but you can also interpret it as poetry because it is poetic and there's
I
different,
see.
and
Yes.
I never looked at it from
And
because
like-
I was creationist.
And
growing
like when the Bible came out, release party, when the Bible dropped, like it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So like, if you're reading into every line, like, it doesn't talk about atoms or,
No.
like how scientifically it works. It's written in a way where people back then
Could
can
understand.
interpret.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. Exactly. So that helped me a lot with some of the questions I had, but most importantly, it was showing me that there were different ways to look into these things that I haven't found online and I haven't found before that I can go to people for, and I can find these different answers
Yeah.
that actually have some substance behind them.
Yeah.
Especially with the whole Islam and Christianity thing. So
Reddit is not the spot.
it's not always. Sometimes it has some helpful stuff, but it usually just leads to more thinking and more spiraling.
And porn.
That's true too. Yeah, you got to be careful with that.
OnlyFans. All right. Yeah.
Get off OnlyFans. Because paying, that's just messed up. Anyways.
No, looking at it in general. Don't just get off OnlyFans. Don't go to Reddit.
Obviously. But I'm saying a step down from that. Bro, who's paying? Like, sorry. Yeah. Anyways.
It's bad no matter what.
It's bad no
Don't-
matter what, but why are you paying? Like, dude.
Don't listen to Matt at all. It's bad no matter
I
what,
think I
even
just
if you
said
are
that.
paying.
I just said that.
No, but like it sounds like you're like, look, don't pay. Go to Reddit instead. That's what you're saying right now.
No, don't do it no matter what, guys. Anyways, I ended up just, after probably almost a year of just constant researching, I just found a lot of different things that added up to this Islam thing is most likely not the truth. And I can get into that a lot deeper, but it was a lot of the stuff where I'm talking about just inconsistencies and things that don't lead to a realistic religion.
Yeah.
And I actually had debates with people. Like I was debating Muslims online, not like recorded, but I would invite them to a Discord call, or they'd invite me to a Discord call, and we hash it out. And I just, none of their stuff was challenging me in the slightest, which is interesting.
Oh, so you were like,
I was hashing
bulldozing these guys.
I kind of was, not always. There was a few things that I had to go back and see, and
yeah,
that's the kind of the point of debate. You want to be challenged. You want to see where you're.
Yeah, no, and I think it doesn't come from. I think with you, because I think anyone knows from like just listening to you for the past couple minutes, you have a great heart, and you're a lover, and I feel like everything that you've done, it's not out of spite, right? One of the things that we talked about at Collective is there's a difference between being skeptical and being cynical, right? If you're skeptical, you're truly searching for the truth, and you're truly curious. I think you in this case are skeptical, but there's a million people that consider themselves skeptical, but they're really cynical. And what cynical is like, they're truly like trying to shut everything down, back everything into a corner, into a place where like they don't
want to know the truth.
Exactly. Yeah. And you're not that.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. I tried to be like that as much as possible. I always kind of thought like, I know that biases exist, and I don't want that to impact anything. So I think sometimes I was even like so far trying to not be biased that I was being biased for the other side, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
But
that's the better of two evils.
Right, exactly. You'd rather be more skeptical and find every single hole that you possibly can than be ignorant about it. So I found these things that I was pretty confident that Islam was not the truth. And it took so long to get there, and obviously so many things that I went through to get there that my family helped me out and my friends helped me out through that. I felt a lot of relief, and I felt a lot of relief coming from just not. There used to be a time where I would think about hell and what it looked like and the possibility of going there every single day. Yeah. And I remember once I kind of came to this conclusion that I can confidently believe in Christianity. There were weeks that I didn't think about hell, and it was so relieving. It was awesome. Like, that sounds like such a silly thing. It's like, I don't really think about hell that much, but for me, it was so rough. It was so rough.
No.
So getting some relief of that was awesome.
Dude, I think it's dope. Like me, I feel like I'm very like, at least for the longest time, I was like, look, love Jesus, yay, and then go like eat a butterfly or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Go like, just be happy.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? And like, but like, there's a lot of people that like want to know everything.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Or they're a lot smarter than I was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like, I based everything that I do in my life off a feeling, right? Jesus gives me and makes me feel phenomenal, and I feel convicted, and I feel driven, and I feel motivated, right? Like, I know I said this earlier, but like the perspective of truly like wanting to know the truth, right? It's so different from what I've been with. Sorry, I keep like interrupting you, and
you're not interrupting at all. This is like,
and you're doing a phenomenal job of like getting back to where you were, because I forget where you were, and then you talk about it.
You're good, dude. You're good.
Yeah,
I want to hear your perspective, because like in my brain, I just can't do that. Like, not in a way that's like bad or anything, but I just can't. My brain doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
I wish it did for a lot of things. I wish I could just like I wish I could be more about the feeling of it sometimes, because sometimes you miss a little bit of the feeling. If
it's almost like
it's not.
It's almost like OCD, but with believing.
Yeah.
Is like you need to make sure everything is in line. Right.
Yes.
Everything has to be correct.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's what it was, and it's like, it just hurt a lot, and I think I missed a lot of the experiences, or the spiritual experiences, because I was so focused on only the facts, and I wish that I could have experienced those things, not looking into that, but
that stinks.
But I think it stinks right now, but
you're
I know,
still young. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
not even that. I know as soon as I go to heaven, then I'm going to have all the spiritual experiences that I'll ever need ever. I'm going to have those, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But I felt really good about that. That was going good, but I still had this nagging feeling about some of the questions of like, how would a loving God send people to hell? I just wasn't getting every answer I needed on that.
Yeah.
And I felt like, just like you said, it was like OCD for religion, where I felt like I needed to have the answer for everything.
Yeah.
So I didn't have one for that. And that really changed when I went to my second collective retreat. And I actually, it was the last night of the retreat. I ended up missing half of it because I was watching the Cavs playoff game against the Knicks and we lost it. And I was like,
not worth
it at all.
Sorry,
so I
show
up halfway late to the service. I'm pissed because we just lost, dude.
Damn.
Like I'm not
No
happy.
Christian for real, bro.
Right. Seriously. The half that I went to is exactly what I needed to hear.
Yeah.
Josiah just painted this picture of, and it's one that I just, like I said, I just miss a lot of the picture of it. I miss a lot of the actual part of seeing what Jesus did because I'm so focused on, did it actually happen or not?
Yeah.
So Josiah painted this picture of Jesus was going up the cross. Jesus was climbing up the cross, or climbing up the hill with the cross on his back. He was carrying that for me. And he just got done with being whipped. His skin was, taken off of his body. He was bleeding to death already. He had a crown of thorns on. He was suffering, just the definition of suffering, just the worst. And he's carrying this cross super heavy up this hill. And he could have just stopped it. He could have stopped it anytime. He's God. He's literally God. He can just say, no, I'm not going to do this. You guys deal with your own stuff.
Yeah.
And then instead of stopping, he picks his eyes up and he sees me. He sees my face, a sinner who just completely turns against him and rebels against him every day. I sin every day. And he sees me and he says, I'm going to continue carrying my cross for Matt. And I know it sounds like, oh, well, he did it for everyone. That's what I'm saying. He saw my face. He would have done it if it was just me. He would have done it if it was just you. This applies to anyone. He saw your face and he carried that cross. So just the possibility of seeing you in heaven, even if you aren't a Christian, he carried that cross for you. Just the possibility of seeing you there. And that is just remarkable for me that he could have stopped that. And I thought, how great of a love is that? There's no greater love of that. It's not a human love.
There's nothing on this planet that replicates that.
No. And understanding that love exists, I found out that literally no one needed to tell me this. No one needed to help me. I did no amount of research. But the part of hell that Jesus is describing that's so scary and so terrible is being away, being separated from that love. And that is what hell is. Being separated from that eternal love, being separated from that amazing, we can't even experience all of that in our life right now.
And one of the things that, like, I don't know, someone told me, and we can break this down because I feel like even, I'm at a point right now where, like, I don't fully understand what hell is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I don't know. Maybe I don't think this as much now, but, like, if you think of hell, you think of, like, the devil's up in his castle and there's, like, fire and lava everywhere.
Yeah.
And then you're down there with the pickaxe, right? And you're, pickaxing away at the rock and you're like, when does the suffering stop? They're like, never. You know what I mean? But, one of the things that I heard is like hell is when God truly gives you exactly what you think you want or need. You know what I'm saying? And, like, I don't know. You can kind of break that down or whatever.
So my thought of hell, and here's the thing. So just like how I found different answers for the evolution creation thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ways to look at it, and looking at it one way versus another way doesn't tell you that you're a Christian or not. Like, let's say that I'm wrong about this, or whoever has the other argument is wrong about it, but we're still Christians. We still believe that Jesus died for our sins and rose again. we're still both going to heaven.
That's what matters.
That's what matters, is that core belief that Jesus died. So none of this is going to send us to hell or heaven if we get this wrong, this belief.
Yeah.
But my thought is that.
Sorry, we're good. My bad.
So, I mean, think about the best relationship you've ever been in your entire life. I don't care if it's with a girl. I don't care if it's like just a friendship. Okay. The best relationship you ever felt, the most love you've ever felt from a person. Okay. Mm-hmm. And not only that, but think about what the best relationship you were ever in, but that it ended. Okay. That relationship that ended, but you felt a great amount of love when you were in it. Mm-hmm. Think about how much it hurt. It hurt a lot, right?
Right. Like I literally say the expression, it hurts like hell.
Okay. Yeah. So it hurts a lot, and you're so sad, you're miserable. It's like that feeling of so much anxiety. It's almost unbearable. It's so hard.
It's physical pain.
It is physical pain, and it's
I'm going to spoil it for everyone who doesn't know what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about my first high school girlfriend.
Dang, bro, you're dropping that. Bro, what if she listens to this?
She definitely not.
That's crazy.
Whatever. That's what I'm thinking about. And I'll describe the pain. I'll be real. Like, bro, this is my pod and I'm gonna do whatever I want. Like, it's physical, horrible, empty pain.
Yes.
And I literally couldn't sit still.
Yes.
There was nights where like I would go run. Yep. To replace the pain with other pain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
like
so deep.
Like, bro, I couldn't sleep at night.
It's so deep.
couldn't. It was, and like truly like hurting. Like, bro, there was like a twist in my stomach and my heart.
Yeah.
Like, and it was constant.
Yeah.
And it, like, not that it still is, but like for like probably like 2 years, like, you know, and like, you know, I still like, it's still, I'm gonna be real, it still hurts.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
You know what I mean? But that like, you know,
but that just shows how hard,
like,
like that's how much it hurts. Is that even now there's still parts of it that are with you. Mm-hmm. So
always. All right, wait.
So let me keep cooking here. I'm cooking.
Can I keep spilling or like?
No, yeah, you're good. No.
I just like okay.
Sorry.
And I feel like because of that, because it was so bad.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I'm scarred, but like, you know, I kind of said this in the last podcast. Like, I don't know if I'll ever love the same again. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
I sound like a little bitch.
No, you don't. You I get it, bro. It's
I'm sorry.
But that's my point.
I'm sorry.
No, bro. This is my point. I'm getting there. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
That hurts. It hurts. And it still hurts. And it sucks so much.
Yeah.
Okay. That pain is almost unbearable. And it's almost like a physical pain. It's not exactly like you're getting like actually physically hurt, but it's almost like that.
Yes.
Okay. Think about how bad that hurt. But that is a broken human relationship. And human relationships, even the best human relationship in the world, are inherently flawed because we're all flawed beings. Okay. So the best relationship that you can be in gives you that much pain. It's a flawed, broken human relationship. How much more do you think it hurts to be separated from the greatest love that has ever existed in the history of mankind? It's like that breakup.
Yeah.
You can't even describe it.
I know.
That's what hell is.
Like, you thought that my high school breakup was bad.
It is. It is bad.
It is bad. But listen, this is what I'll say, and to attest to what Matt's talking about, you know, obviously, like, you know, you can call it over it, you can call it whatever, okay? But the true purpose that Christ has brought into my life lately, and truly realizing that like a relationship with him is more gratifying than any relationship here. It's taken that pain away. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the things that I've heard is like, you know, don't run from pain. Don't run from sin. Don't run towards God instead.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I've been doing lately. And I truly feel reformed and reborn, and like all that stuff that I've felt, like it's in a new light now. Yeah. And there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Obviously, like, is there always going to be things I don't understand? Of course. But realizing that like his plan for me, and there's a purpose behind everything. Yeah. And after this life, I'm going to spend eternity with him.
With the best love ever.
Going through whatever purpose is after this life.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it truly, like, you know, it gives me hope. Yes. But all that to still say, like, the pain still happened.
For sure.
And it was still real and it
Yes.
still was horrible.
Yeah.
But like with Christ and all that stuff, like I feel like they say reborn, I feel reborn.
Awesome.
You know what I'm saying? Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Don't be sorry. What are you talking about,
this
bro?
is like for me.
This is great. Not that I love that happened, but I love that you get the opportunity to talk about it. And
Yeah.
That's. It just goes to show you like how much we need God, how
Yeah.
much we need that love. Because no matter even if you guys stayed together, whatever relationship it was,
Mm-hmm.
whoever's relationship you're listening to, even if it stayed together, it's just not even close to the amount that the eternal love that you're going to feel with God.
Yeah.
And that's what hell is, just being separated from that. And I
Everyone's been through heartbreak.
exactly. So we know how that feels and we know how that goes. So that was kind of something that really helped me with hell. And when Josiah painted that picture for me, I understood that finally.
Yeah.
And I literally stood up and I got baptized that night. And I think that's the night that I actually became a Christian.
That's awesome.
I don't know if it was exactly that moment. I don't know. It's a process, and I don't know exactly what that happened there. But I love that it happened, and I that really, as soon as I felt that love, and as soon as I understood the love, all that weight of the what if Islam's real? What if nothing's real? What if Christianity is not right? All the what ifs, and my OCD with religion. All the weight of that just fell off my shoulders.
Yeah.
And I wasn't scared anymore. And
That's awesome, dude.
I got baptized. My brother baptized me. It was awesome.
That's sick.
And since then, I've just been trying to continue my path with God.
That's phenomenal, dude. I think Christ dying makes sense. And like, you know, I think it's, and I'm gonna bring it full circle. You've heard the saying, there's no such thing as a free lunch, right? Or something always has to give.
Okay.
Right? Like if you get a free something,
Yeah.
right? There's always something that's
Yeah.
you know
There's something. Yeah.
Exactly.
There's
yes.
a cost for everything.
Nothing is ever free.
Yes.
You've heard that.
I got you.
Right? And I think with us living on this earth, right? And there's so much sinful nature and there are so many bad things that happen, right? Something has to give. Right? All this stuff that goes on, all this sinful nature, right? Nothing is free.
Yep.
All the good things that go on this earth aren't free.
Yep.
There's a price.
Yep.
Right?
Right.
And I think, it makes so much sense that like Jesus, like something has to give.
Either we have to pay that price.
Exactly.
Or he does.
And I think, with Jesus and his suffering, not only did he die, but he went through the worst pain
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Ever
Yep.
on this earth. You can't there's nothing that anyone else has been through that trumps that. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And to think that he went through that to pay that price
Right.
for all of our sin.
Yep.
Right? All the, stuff that isn't free.
Yes.
He paid that price.
And not only that, bro, not only the worst torture and everything that you can go through, he bore the weight of our sins. And the Bible doesn't say that just in like a way of like, oh, he took on our sins and like he got rid of them. He felt the weight of
Yeah.
our sins. And like when you do something bad, you feel that guilt. You feel that.
yeah.
He took all of that and bore it from everyone and bore it himself.
And not only that, but he goes to war to reach us and
Yes.
fight our sin every single day, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And for all the sin and all the bad nature, for the, nothing's ever free.
Yeah.
Right? Jesus was the price that makes all that free. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
it makes so much sense.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
sure.
And I think, the thought of like nothing can come from nothing, right? These worldly sayings that we say that like make sense in our world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like to think that like everything started right from you know what I'm saying? Like
It just is unrealistic.
one of the things that we talked about at Collective is, religion doesn't counter science. Religion completes science, right?
Yeah.
If you took all the different parts of the Bible where science hasn't truly figured out or
Right.
whatever, right? It fills in those gaps.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And we can sit here and talk forever, about those gaps and whatever and all that stuff. But, you
well,
know.
Bro, sorry to interrupt you, but
No,
I'll be
please.
so real. There are some questions that I don't have the answers for yet.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. Because I trust God. I know how he's worked in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that he has a plan for the future, and I know that he's real. And because of that, I'm not just going to give up on the questions. I'm not just like, oh, that doesn't make sense. I'll just be ignorant towards it and continue with my Christianity.
Yeah.
I'm going to tackle those questions, but I'm going to have God on my side, knowing that I don't have to do it with fear that's going to blind me. I can have God on my side without that fear.
And I think that's freaking awesome, dude.
Yes.
It's almost like not like obviously, but like I feel like me and you are like switching spots in a way.
A little bit.
We're like you know, obviously with the series that we've gone through at Collective has been a huge part of me understanding all this.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, the nothing comes from nothing or whatever. If anyone really wants to like dive into this stuff, what's the one dude's name that like stands really wide when he's about to talk and spit fire?
I don't know what you're talking about.
He goes to college campuses and he like
Joseph Dotson?
No.
Oh.
He's-
I don't remember his name. Dang it.
Is
bro.
it? It's Cliff. Something.
It's Cliff.
Cliff what?
I don't know his last name. Just search Cliff Christian guy on YouTube. You'll
Yes,
find him.
search Cliff Christian guy. And there are debates where he breaks all this stuff down, where you can truly understand and like the apologetic side of this. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so, you know, with where I am right now in my walk, I feel like starting from that place of like, look, I have felt God's love and I felt that presence, right? And I know it's real. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, like obviously recently, like, you know, listening to what Josiah says at Collective has really like helped me with the, you know, apologetic side. But like, you know, it's like, I feel like from where I've started, where like Jesus' love and all that, and you know, the price that he paid, it almost, I don't know, it makes my journey into the apologetic side a lot easier. Like I feel like where you started rock bottom.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you were like, I need to prove everything.
Yes.
And then I'll feel something.
That's actually so true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, not that like my path is easier or yours is
No, it's just different
whatever,
ways, yeah.
But like, you know, to go from look, I feel something and I know God's real. I don't understand it, but I know it's real. And then that understanding, it makes it easier to go into those things.
It does.
I feel like with what you've been through, it's such a massive hurdle where it's like, look, I'm going to discount everything I'm feeling. I need to know this is real.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then you can start to feel. And I think Matt's story can give anyone hope in realizing that, like, look, you started from like the bottom. Started from the bottom, now we here. You know what I'm saying? But like you started from the bottom of the like the worst side you can start on. You know what I'm saying? And just in realizing that, like, now I know your family is big into Christ and all
Super
that
blessed,
stuff, but like I think one thing that like I've started to do in my life is you know, look for what God's trying to do, or look for what people, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like what the signs are and stuff. And with your whole story and stuff, I think it's so cool to say that, like, look, like you were so incredibly close to just calling it quits and quitting the whole journey.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't think any background that you're in takes away from that. You know what I'm saying? And you know, from where you were to where you are now, dude, you know, this is just, you know, apart from whatever, like, you know, you're a winner, bro.
I appreciate
and I'm
that.
so freaking proud of you, dude. Like,
Thank
honestly, like, you know, I know that you've always been big into church, but like, you know, we've been through our ups and downs, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, like I told you before, you know, I've been very selfish at points in our friendship and stuff. And you've been more than graceful and willing with me to give me another chance. And not like another chance, but like just be a homie about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're homies, bro.
And dude, like, you know I said this before, but you're winning, bro.
Bro, it's not me. It's like, it's all God. Like, I straight up cannot explain where all of the things in my life have come from other than from God. And I'm incredibly blessed to be given a second shot at life.
Yeah.
And be able to go and to fix my my GPA that I let go and things like that. I'm so incredibly blessed, and none of that would have happened if I didn't have the family that God blessed me with.
Yeah.
Shout out to my family. Shout out to my friends that stayed with me through that time. That's it. And there's so many people out there who are not blessed with that, and they don't have that. And if there's any chance that any of you are listening to this, dude, reach out to me, and I want to talk to you.
Matt, his name will be in the title, everything.
Nice.
Look him up on Instagram.
Heck yeah.
He's a winner. But, I feel like I've gotten the best version of you the whole time that we've been friends. You know what I'm saying? But
I mess up, bro.
Yeah. And you're still, but I just, you're killing it, dude. And I'm proud. I'm proud to call you my friend, man.
Thank you, bro.
I'm proud to call you my friend. And
proud to be your friend, man.
And, we're going to do incredible things together. And, it's just the infancy of our journey together.
For sure.
And but dude, I truly do, I appreciate you. One of the first times we ever sat down and talk was at the retreat.
Yeah, I remember that.
And we were sitting in the old cafe.
Yeah.
With the lights off and
Smelled
all that
weird
stuff.
in there.
Yeah, no, but it was just you and me, and I was asking you questions. I think I was hurting about girls or something. I forget what I was saying.
Yeah.
But
it was. Yeah.
One of the things that you kept saying over and over again was God's love is bigger than all that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
It is.
And you have been such a clinical part of my journey with Christ, recently that I appreciate you, dude.
Dude, that makes me so happy to hear.
Matt, and we're going to start wrapping up here. And our outro song is kind of lame, but it's hilarious. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry for anyone who's expecting a banger outro song. Matt, if there's anything you want to tell the 3 people that are still listening.
Okay.
This is
don't call it quits. Reach out to me, reach out to someone important in your life that you can talk to and that you can rely on. And if you don't have that person, dude, reach out to me and I'll talk to you. There's always something else. There's always more. Just keep searching. It's
out there.
Heck yeah.
It's out there. Ready for her L?
Let's hear it, bro. Let's hear it. What we got? Hey,
ladies and gentlemen, this has been 2G1C.
Is it because I'm Matt, the boxer?
If anyone doesn't know what this is from Wii Sports, okay? The outro boxing thing.
Yeah.
And the best boxer's name is Matt.
Yes, everyone.
That's divine intervention. If that doesn't show you God's real, then I don't know what does. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been 2G1C with one of my best friends on the planet.
Let's go.
Matt Redinger. I'm so blessed. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace out.